Hey everyone, I hope you all are safe and doing good. So today we are going to discuss what is ChatGPT basically. So first we will be discussing what is GPT, history of GPT, then we will come to ChatGPT one by one, right? And see first, let's see now what is in ChatGPT we have this word GPT, right? So what is this GPT? The full form of GPT is generative pre-trained transformer. In the previous lecture also I have told you in the history of we were discussing the history of AI. Then the term came into picture transformer, right? So first let's see what is GPT, generative pre-trained transformer. Okay, it's a AI model. It's a AI language model basically that generates human-like text based on given prompts. So that is basically GPT, right? And this use the technique transformer. This transformer means in the history, I guess you remember from the history video, in 2017, Google Brain team published a research, a paper, Attention is All You Need. And in that paper, they introduced this transformer architecture, basically applying the self attention mechanism there. The core idea was just to, focus on different parts of the input, like a sentence, while processing each word, so that to understand the relationship and the context of that syntax or that input. So that is a self attention technique, self attention mechanism used in transformer. And after that, in the next year only, OpenAI launched GPT-1 using this transformer, this architecture or this technique. Okay, so generative means generate something. Pre-trained means already trained on massive amount of data. After that, maybe fine tuning. I'll discuss each and every term, meaning of each and every term. Don't worry. What is fine tuning, LLM, pre trained, and all? Don't worry. Just you just have the idea right now. GPT, generative pre trained transformer, using the transformer architecture, that mechanism, that technique. It's an AI language model that generates human like text based on given prompts. Okay. So it learns pattern from a massive amount of data we feed to these models, and this helps it predict and generate coherent responses. Coherent means in context. The responses are not I mean, making some sense. I'm asking something, and maybe that model is giving me some answer in some else sense, something else answer. No. So the answer are making sense in some context we are getting the answers. Okay, that the meaning of this is coherent responses is this. Okay, so we have discussed this transformer architecture built on self attention mechanism. Okay, and this design allows the model to understand context better than the previous approaches. Context better than the previous approaches. Context means I have discussed in the previous lecture also. When I ask something, like if you ask that ChatGPT, right now we are using ChatGPT. So we ask, do you know like who is Jayanti Khatri Lamba? So you will get the answer. After that, if I ask, is she a good teacher? So she means ChatGPT is able to understand. She means I'm talking about now Jayanti Khatri Lamba, the context of my next question. Like we are talking to a human. I don't need to write, is Jayanti Khatri Lamba a good teacher again? No. I just write, is she a good teacher? And ChatGPT will understand. So ChatGPT is able to understand the context, right? And this approach, this architecture transformer basically helps in this thing, to understand the context of whatever we are talking. Right. Now let's come to the history of GPT. So first GPT-1 after 2017, in 2018, OpenAI launched its GPT-1. Okay, the first model, but only having 117 million parameters. So trained on books, the main corpus was book corpus. Dataset was used for pre-training this model, but this model was mainly just a research prototype. It was not released for public use or some APIs, no, something like this, no. It was just a research prototype. They were just experimenting something, that's it. Okay, just to showcase the potential of generative pre-training, that's it. So we were not aware about this GPT and all that at that time. Okay, after that, in 19, in Feb 19, they released the second model of GPT-2 called GPT-2 in February 19. And the parameters are with 1.5 billion parameters. Parameters are what? I'll discuss this thing also in later. The key terminology we use, we'll see later. But right now, if I give you a brief, then parameter means the more parameters, the more accuracy, the more memory that model is having. It's kind of memory node. In simple terms, memory node. So the more parameter, the more memory that uh, model is having and more accuracy. That's it. So obviously, see, it is having 1.5 billion parameters. Okay. So because of that, it was larger than its predecessor and having obviously good performance. But the thing is, or this was trained on a massive amount of data, almost 40 GB data, 40 GB text data, trained on 8 million web pages from Red Hat links. I mean, the user posted some links on Red Hat. So they fetch the link which are having at least 3 upvotes or more upvotes so that the data should be good. If you feed garbage data to your model, you will get a garbage data as output. So the data has to be good. The trained data on which you are training the model has to be good to get good results. So it was trained on almost 8 million documents, 8 million web pages, right? 40 GB text data. It makes around 40 GB text data. Okay. So it so improving its general knowledge and versatility because of huge amount of data. But the thing is, initially they didn't release this, the full model, 1.5 model. They didn't release 1.5 billion parameter model. No, because because of the fear that because of the misuse. They have the fear that maybe somebody is going to misuse it or some fake news or something like this. So they release it in gradually in smaller models having few parameters. Right. After that, in November 19, they released it for public use. Full model, 1.5 billion parameter, full model they released. But how to use it now? It's not like that it was available for public. Even at that time, also, we were not aware about this thing. Right. So the thing is, it was not a web based chatbot like we are having ChatGPT. No, there was no such kind of interface. Right. So you are supposed to download it. It was open source. So you're supposed to download from the open AI's uh, GitHub, profile, right? OpenAI's GitHub, and you have to use it locally or via code, right? So mainly developers and researchers were using it, not general user, right? To use it, you have to write code, proper scripts to give input and to get output. So to use it, you have to be at that time good in a programming language, especially mostly in Python programming language. So any non-tech or general user were not able to use this model as well, right? So they have to download it and use it either locally or via code, right? So you must have programming knowledge to use it. So that's why it was not that much popular at that time. After that, after that, the next version came GPT-3. It was in next year in June 2022, right? With 175 billion parameter. See, 175 billion parameters. Now you can imagine how huge this model is and how it was dramatically, significantly improvement was seen in this model because of these parameters. 175 billion parameters. Always you can say the memory knobs, the knowledge knobs. So the more the memory, the more powerful or more accurate the model is, right? But this was not open source, the very first. So anybody was not able to download it from the GitHub repository of OpenAI and use it. No, they released it through APIs, application programming interface. So you're supposed to use it through the APIs. For that also you need some technical knowledge, programming knowledge. Otherwise, so for general user, it was not available. Obviously, it was not a web-based chatbot kind of thing like we have ChatGPT, right? It was not open source, so required approval first. If you want to use it, you had to go to their you first have to get to approval. Wait list was there. You have to apply. You will get the approval. Then you can use it, and then you have to pay for it also. It was paid. It was not free. According to your usage, you have to pay per token, right? So especially developers or companies or researchers used it. they generally get the approval, right? And after that, getting the approval, they used it, maybe they integrated it to their website or some apps or tools, or they build their own chatbot, like customer support kind of thing, or writing assistant kind of thing, or content generator or anything. So they could use it in this sense, but they are supposed to pay for it, right? That's why it was not that much like popular at that time in 2022 as well, right? So to access it, you have to access it through open AI API. You need coding knowledge as well, and an API key as well, and some money, because it was not free. So mostly developers, researchers, and companies used it, not general user, which are non-tech user. Okay. Now, I hope you are aware about APIs. Let me tell you in brief. Application Programming Interface. So it's like, if a real life example I'll give you, then it's like a waiter. You go to any restaurant, you sit there, you the waiter came, and you just tell the waiter what you want. Then the waiter will go to the kitchen and will serve you whatever you want. You don't have to go to kitchen and tell, or something like this. So waiter is kind of API. It's a communication. It's a bridge between you and actually the food, or actually the kitchen. So same API is like a bridge between your website or app and the other website or app you want to use. Like, suppose, see, let's take one example. My website, jennyslectures.com. So I'm using like Razorpay's API for payment. I don't have my own payment system. Means I am not going to handle that payment kind of thing. So once user will like click on enroll now or pay kind of thing, they'll be redirect to that Razorpay pays, and everything, the payment kind of thing is handled by Razorpay. So the API I'm using, Razorpay API I am using for payment, and I have to pay for it, obviously. Another example is, sometimes on a website you get sign in with Google, sign in with Facebook, something like this you get, right? So you don't have to create your own account or sign up. You just click on sign in with Google. That's it. So that is what that website is using. If on my website I give you this option, sign in with Google, means that website is using Google API to sign in. Once you click on sign in Google, so internally the things are happening, and from Google they'll get your username, password, authentication, and all, and after that you are able to sign in. So third party, sorry, the API, Google API is using, that website is using Google API to integrate this thing, sign in with Google in their website. Okay. So it is something like this: API, application programming interface. Google, Facebook, and these are having their own authentication APIs that generally other websites use. On many websites, you will get to see this option: sign in with Google, sign in with Facebook, sign in with maybe Twitter, or kind of. Okay, so this is API in simple terms. So that is ChatGPT 3. It was trained on almost around 570 GB of data, around 570 GB of data. Okay, so that was huge. So that's why performance was very good of this ChatGPT 3 model. But the main thing was it was not open source and it was not free. Next, next version came. That is ChatGPT. See, how to use GPT-3? I have told you. Access via API. Developers connect to GPT-3 through the API service. And this requires API key and uses is built based on tokens process. So it was not free. But in this case, the quality of the output depends heavily on well-designed prompt. How we are going to give your prompt, the output you get, the quality of that output depends on those prompts. So you are supposed to give a very clear and crafted prompt to get clear output and correct output, right? But it was fine tuned again for specific tasks. Fine tuning means, fine tuning, if I tell you in general terms, then chat gpt is also fine tuning. Like, it's a pre-trained model that is available for fine tuning. Fine tuning means we can train that model on some specific data set as well. Means we are fine tuning that. Like, we have trained ChatGPT on general data, massive amount of data, and if you want to train it on a smaller data related to medical field only, So that is what fine tuning. We just provide the data set related to medical, and that is what fine tuning. We are again training that. So that basically known as term is known as fine tuning. So custom versions can be trained for specialized applications, right? So fine tune for specific task. GPT-3, I mean, available for fine tuning also. You can also fine tune that particular model on for your specific task as well. Just provide your own data, maybe personal data, and just fine tune that model accordingly. Okay. Next, now ChatGPT came into picture. It ChatGPT used 3.5 version, 3.5 version, GPT 3.5, and it came in November 2022. It based on GPT 3.5. It's an AI model developed by OpenAI. ChatGPT is also known as, it's an LLM, large language model, large language model. Basically, this LLMs are known as AI model that are trained on massive, huge amount of data, and they are able to understand and generate human-like language. That those are LLM. ChatGPT is LLM. Bard is LLM. Gemini is LLM. Cloudy is LLM. So these few examples are of LLM, large language models. Right. So ChatGPT is also a LLM, large language model. It is trained with billions of documents, although they haven't disclosed how much GB of data, but yeah, billions of documents it has been trained. That's why it's so much accurate. And now the very first time, the first GPT model widely available to the general public, it is having its own web interface. You directly go to their website and directly chat. Great and simple interface we get. Very first time we got at that time in November 2022. So even general user who are from non-tech background, they don't know anything. They don't know any coding language. So don't need any coding language to interact with Chat GPT. Okay, anyone can use it. Even a small child can also use it, right? So the very first time it was released available to general public, and it was free at that time. This version, okay. And it was one of the most successful product release ever in the history, because within 5 days of its launch, it reached 1 million user account. ChatGPT reached 1 million user account just in 5 days after its launch. It was launched in 30th of November 2022. Okay, and till January 2023, these user account becomes the number becomes 100 million within just 2 months. So it is one of the most successful and most, you can say, popular product release ever in the history. Even TikTok took almost 8 months around to reach till 100 million users. Okay, so that was ChatGPT. Now let me tell you something about ChatGPT more. See, the name suggests chat and GPT. Chat means, we know, simple general meaning of chat is what? It just refers to the ability of this model to interact in a human kind of thing, in a conversational way, in human like language as well. Just chatting. So that is chat. Conversational interface designed for dialogue. Okay. So that is meaning of simple chat. So makes complex AI accessible through a natural conversation. You know how you cannot even imagine how complex this chat GPT or this AI model is behind the scene. But you don't need to worry about these complexity and all. You just write down a simple prompt. Okay, write a poem for me in 100 words on any topic you can give, and it will give you that thing. Behind the scene, what is happening, you don't need to worry about that. You don't need any coding language or anything, right? Next is GPT, generative. G means generative. Generative means generate something, text, images, audio, video, essays, anything. New data, generate new data. So generative, right? Creates new data rather than retrieving the existing information based on your dialogue, right? Next is pre-trained. Pre-trained means already trained from massive amount of data, learned from massive text data set before deployment. Already it was trained. So it contains general knowledge from its training data, right? Next is transformer. It is, I have told you that transformer architecture they have used here. That's why That GPT word, this came from that only in ChatGPT, right? Based on the transformer neural network architecture. And we know how neural network works. In one of the previous lecture in deep learning, we have discussed neural networks having multiple layers. Data is passing from one layer to another layer, processing it. Each layer is processing it, enhancing it, learning from it, and like this, we get the output, or they classify the data or predict the data, right? So that's why this technique transformer or this model enables the understanding of relationship between words, because it works on the technique self attention mechanism. Okay, so this is what, like, you can say, full form of chat gpt, and what is the meaning of every word in this chat gpt. Okay, now some key features. If I ask you key features now, I guess you can easily tell me. Natural conversation, we can naturally, like we are talking to a human, we can talk with chat gpt also, right? Creative content generation, it can do anything, it can generate anything, whether writing essays, stories, poems, or any code you want to generate, any code that also it will do, or images or anything. Write any articles, blogs, or summarize even the text, or analyze the text and give you a report, generate reports, and many more things it can do, right? Question answer, you can ask any complex technical question even, or general question, it will give you answer. It can explain any topic. Yes. Programming assistance, yes, it can help you to write code as well, help in coding, debugging, and these things. Text refinement helps with editing, summarizing, and improving written content. That also it can give you. It can summarize your uh, text, give you a summary, or analyze your text, or improve your whatever text you have written based on your prompt. Obviously, you have to give prompt. So these are some key features of ChatGPT. So why ChatGPT is so popular? That within 5 days of its launch, the user count, the number reaches to 1 million. Why? Very first thing is like its accessibility. The very first thing is, so it was easy to access, free to use first, and easy to access, because you are provided a web interface, chatbot kind of thing, and you directly write your prompt and that's it. No complex user interface is there. It was a simple user interface. So the very first thing is easy to access kind of thing. Second thing is human like response. It feels like we are talking with a human proper, right? It can answer in that conversational way, and having the context aware kind of thing. It knows in which context I'm asking that question, so it saves the previous history. It's not like that previous models were like that, just give you the answer and back to state zero. They were not able to save the context or the history. Okay, but this is not. ChatGPT remembers what is the previous question, the context, and the history as well, so that you don't have to. It feels like that you are talking to a human. You don't have to explain each and every thing when you ask next question. Okay, it will simply answer you in a conversational and contextual way. Third thing is what, it can do almost anything. It can write essays, generate images, or you can say you in code, or writing articles, blogs, or what summarizing the text, analyzing the text. So it's useful for almost everyone, for student, or for professionals, or for developers, for researchers, everyone can use it. It is useful like for everyone. So that is one more point behind its success. Next point is what, obviously at that time it was the first mover, I guess, OpenAI. There was no such mainstream and general purpose AI assistant available. So OpenAI just filled this gap, and at the right time only. So that's why one more point is that. Next point, maybe why this is so much popular, is it offers web interface for users and API for developers. Okay. So even from a non-tech background, if you are simple end user, can also use, developers can also use using its APIs and develop their new chatbot and something like this. They can integrate it also in their websites or tools or apps or anything. So these are like few reasons because of this thing, or maybe another reasons also, like because of social media, and everyone was like having some unique conversation and posting their videos or post on social media. So that's why it became so much popular because of social media as well. Social media also playing a great role in ChatGPT's success. But obviously, it is incredible. That's why it's so much popular. Okay. Now you know something about ChatGPT. What is ChatGPT? And you know history of GPTs as well, from where this ChatGPT came. Now we are having ChatGPT 4, 4.0, and maybe 4.5. I don't know like where this ChatGPT 5 will go, because we are still so much advanced. Okay, we can't imagine. So, but those version are paid. This 3.5 is free to use, but 4, if you use 4 and those versions, that are paid. So you have to pay for it. Some practical application of ChatGPT in every field almost we are having this thing. Whether it's education, programming, business, or entertainment, or healthcare industry, or anything, it is everywhere. These are simple few practical applications of this thing. Okay. Next is that's it about this lecture now. I hope now you have the idea about ChatGPT. This was just a introduction to ChatGPT. Now we will see later on how basically ChatGPT works. What is LLM? What is fine tuning? What is embedding? Right? Not will not go into that much deep, but yeah, I'll tell you the basic terminologies used, the how ChatGPT is working, how they are going to be trained. Okay, and then we will see obviously the prompt are also playing a great role. How to use proper prompts to get accurate output from ChatGPT. It's not just a smart chatbot. No, it's very, I mean, it's more than that. If you're able to find out its abilities, what ChatGPT can do, seriously, it's insane. It's insanely good. So first, let me show you just a practical use of ChatGPT, how to use it. Okay, so first you are supposed to create your account. You have to go to that OpenAI website and you have to create your account, and then you can use ChatGPT. I hope now you are already using it. Okay. So this is free version. I'm just using ChatGPT, great for everyday task. It's plus. It is paid. So if you want to go for paid version, uh, plus is 20 USD dollar per month, or this is pro is 200. So you can just tweet out this thing. But we are using free for everyday task. If you want to learn something and all, you can use free. Ask anything. Just ask anything from this. And let me just ask, do you know Jayanti Khatri Lamba? Let's see. So yeah, yes, Jayanti Khatri Lamba is known as Jenny, and yeah, it gives the information regarding me, right? If I ask something like, is she a good teacher? Let's see. Yes. So widely regarded as a very good teacher, especially in field of computer science and IT strength. Okay, means like ChatGPT is able to understand the context. If she means, I'm just talking about Jayanti Khatri Lamba. I don't have to write is Jayanti Khatri Lamba a good teacher? No. So this is one of the great thing about ChatGPT. It is understanding the context in which I'm talking. I'm asking my next question, right? Okay. So this is how we can use it. Just I just given you a simple example. How many subscribers she has? So yeah, it is giving me the latest information as of 21 May 2025, approximately 1.88 million subscribers. So yeah, it is updated. I guess it's updated, right? 840 videos. Yes. So it's true. I mean, how many subscribers she has? Yeah, he knows that I'm talking about Jayanti Khatri Lamba. So this is how you can use for everyday life. We will be exploring this paid version also. It's paid version. I'll tell you. I'll just walk you through till like how to create your own chatbot, how to create your own GPT also. So we will be discussing many more things later. It is just introduction. So in the next lecture, we'll see now the what is LLM, what is fine tuning, what is embedding, how ChatGPT actually works, what is happening behind the scene. Okay. So now I'll see you in the next lecture. Till then, bye bye. Take care.